always had 100% freedom to do anything we want and been encouraged to do so. We are so lucky because of, I mean, how many albums have we done? I don't even know at this point. And including the side and solo stuff, what a gift that is. I mean, that's the situation you hope you'll be lucky enough to ever get in at some point in your life as an artist. And that's the philosophy of King's X. Be free, do what you feel. One of the reasons we went with that name is that it didn't make us think of any one type of music. My earliest memory of music in my life is my dad playing music to me and hearing the Beatles. Those two things are mostly responsible, I think, for why I play music. But at the same exact time that I was, just totally enthralled with the Beatles, I was playing music with my family. And we were doing like bluegrass festivals and playing at local parks and anywhere that would have us, actually. So I was experiencing two different cultures at once, really opposed to each other, and I loved both of them. It was just really fun to go do festivals and be in that atmosphere and experience that kind of, the kind of thing in the early days of it that it used to be. It was amazing. My dad would be playing the acoustic to me and he taught me my first harmony and things like that. And I was already in love with harmony because of the Beatles, so it just all went together. We did all meet each other separately and in different ways before we became a band. We sort of came across each other for different reasons. And as it ended up, Jerry ended up playing with Doug, and I ended up playing with Jerry in a separate band. Even, Doug had like been over to my dorm hanging out, jamming, and there was like a little community of all of us that knew each other. And we're doing little projects and shows together, so our paths crossed. And but at one point, I just got a call from Doug, and he said, hey, why don't we play together? And it was just sort of like, duh, yeah, why don't we? Because we all wanted to play together, we just hadn't actually brought it up, I guess. When we first started out, we actually, had these big aspirations, and so we were, doing all original music. And it was some freaky all original music. I mean, it was like nothing I have ever heard before. And half of it, I wasn't sure if it was good or what, but I just knew we were reaching for something and doing something very different. And we started packing out clubs in Springfield, Missouri. I say clubs, they weren't even really clubs. We couldn't get a gig in a real club because nobody knew who we were, and we were playing this freaky music. We had to sell ourselves. We went to this local pinball shop. There used to be pinball shops in Springfield and everywhere in those days. It's kind of different vibe, kind of like a comic book shop. And we said, hey, we promise you we'll draw you a crowd in this place. Let us do a show here. And he had never had a band in there before, and that's how we started doing our first gigs, selling out a pinball place that we convinced to let us play. That's how we got started in Springfield, and the word spread, and before we knew it, all these bands that were the top bands in the area, filling the big clubs, were coming to see us in this little hole. And they were freaking out because we were crazy enough to be doing our own thing. So they all started asking us to open for them at all their shows. And that's how it got started for us. And it was based on all this original music. As far as the musician community and the bands, we've always been supported and given props like that, just like now. Also, just like now, it was difficult for us to get into the places we wanted to play because these club owners didn't know anything about us and weren't musicians and didn't care if the other musicians liked us. They just cared if we could fill the place up. So it was tough for us to get going, even though we had all that help from everybody. And we've been knocking on that door forever. We decided to spend some time demoing some songs. When we finally did that demo, that was like 7 years into the band. 7 years into touring all over the country, almost every state at this point. We used to drive ourselves. We literally one time had a gig in North Carolina, and the next gig was in Colorado. And it's us with a couple of crew people, and that's how we lived and did it. We paid hardcore dues in this band for many years. When we finally got to the point where we made that demo that we were happy with, It was a breakthrough for us because we really felt like, okay, this captured something. And so we were very excited about that and sent it to every single label that we had ever heard of. And we received rejection from 100% of every label. You talk about demoralizing, you know, feeling like you're going nowhere, doing nothing. The night we got signed, we did the show. It was a very surreal night. I remembered that Joey Ramone was standing about 10 feet from me, like this. I mean, not smiling, not moving, not whatever, but he stayed there for every note. And all of a sudden, a bunch of other people started kind of doing the same thing, coming up and really watching. And we were having troubles with monitors and stuff, and we felt like we were really blowing this one chance we had to make an impression. It was a bad show for us, but some emotion came out from it, I think. I mean, at one point, Doug, I think, you know, threw his mic over and storming off the stage. All these people were standing around mesmerized. And we stayed for a couple days and worked it out and signed a deal right then and there, and that's how it went down.